Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We have Jonathan from Hiscox with us on this beautiful Wednesday. I'm going to kick it over to him and he's going to briefly introduce himself and just take the wheel.
All right, thanks. Hope everyone's doing well. Like Kylie said, my name's Jonathan Hines with Hiscox. I am the business development manager that works with INVO over here. So very excited for the opportunity to meet you all and work with you all in the future to come. So for this session, I figured I just wanted to kind of do a high level overview and let everybody know about who Hiscox is if you're not familiar with us, our appetite, and then walk through our quote and bind system, and then show you where you can find a lot of frequently asked questions, documents that we typically share with agents and partners and everything of the like, just to kind of walk through everything. So my plan is to try to condense it into 10 minutes for slides, get through those. I'm sure the policies you're all pretty familiar with, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. And then 5, 10 minutes on just how to navigate our system, where to find everything, and then 5, 10 minutes to show you the quote and bind process as well too. So that being said, I'm gonna share my screen. And then, actually, kind of, they're on. Is everyone on mute if there's questions or anything, or should I just keep running through every? Is there a chat
Yes,
feature?
sorry. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box up there at the top and I can try to answer them as I go at the very end. If it's something I can't answer, Jonathan will take care of. Also, too, you can always reach out to us via email. So
Next, yeah.
everyone's on
Yeah.
mute. You're good to
Okay,
go.
and I'll let you know then, Kylie. Once I do share my screen, I'm not gonna be able to see this box. So if there are things in the chat, I'll be leaning on you. Just let me know because I'm blind.
Perfect. I will handle it for you. I'm gonna turn my camera off too, so that way everyone can focus on you and not me.
Lucky me. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, just let me know when you can see my screen, and then I'll start running through everything.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. All right, so like I said, Hiscox Now. This is our digital solution. So it's really intended to give agents a lot of power through the quote and bind system. One of the really nice things is it's like I said, with the power that it gives you, we can run through a lot of quotes. You can go from quote to issuing of the policy and have the proof of insurance over in the insurance hand once you're comfortable with the system within 5 minutes, 5, 10 minutes to begin really. So it's a really robust, empowering system. So a few things just kind of give you a high level overview of Hiscox Now. Broad appetite. We have about 480 professions that we do insure. That is constantly growing and evolving as well too. So I will show you once we kind of get through these slides where a lot of these things live, where you can see what those professions are and where that's updated in real time. We also do have a rules-based or portfolio underwriting process. So what that really means is once we get into the quote and bind system, it's really difficult to break. It's a very intuitive flow. There's a lot of underwriting questions built into that process as well. So once you're caught up to speed, like I said, it's not uncommon that you're able to complete this quote and bind and have documents in the insurer's hands via email within 5 minutes. So it's intended to be a digital experience where you can go through quote bind without any human interaction. Of course, if you do need assistance, we do have a service center that's available for you for pretty broad hours as well too. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. through 10 p.m. Eastern. So you do have that support if you do need it, but it is intended, like I said, to be a digital experience with a lot of hands off and to get you going in there. Um, New ventures are also welcome. So if even if there's professions or insurers that you have that are looking for a new insurance with no prior experience, that is something Hiscox loves to write. If I decided I was sick of being working in the insurance industry and I want to take on a new profession as a dance therapist, Hiscox would insure me for that tomorrow. Um, Fast and simple, kind of said that several times. So there is no online application or no appointment needed, excuse me, for any of the retail agents. As long as you have an appointment with INVO, you're able to go into the portal, create your account underneath the partner, and then from there you can go in and start quoting binding right away. So like I said, very, very turnkey, very easy. And then still same thing, instant binding, same day effective dates are possible. Documents are emailed immediately. We also have direct bill, so debit and credit card only. The insured is responsible for the payments on the policy as well, too. So I know that's something that's a little bit unique in the digital space. Um, but with that direct bill, with the insured being responsible for those payments, one of the other benefits too is that we do have automatic renewal on all of our policies. Last I checked earlier this month, uh, Hiscox now as a whole, we have about a 92, 93% retention. So there's no paperwork that needs to be done to have these policies renewed. That is automatic, and it's intended to be for very low term, short term at low effort, long term little lift as well too. So like I said, once you do get comfortable getting in the system, it's going to be a very, very intuitive, smooth, fast, easy process for you. And then the last thing I like to let people know on this slide as well too, Hiscox, A-rated company. We've been around for over 100 years. So we're not trying to raise venture capital money at the end of every certain defined time periods. We are here to stay. So if you're looking for a carrier that is stable in this industry and has had a long-standing reputation, it's a great solution for any of those needs as well for you too. So I did want to spend a little bit of time on that one just because I think those are some of the big differentiators that this platform does have that a lot of others don't. So that's everything there. And then I do have some slides on each of the other lines of business. But like I said, given all of your experience in the industry, I kind of want to run through these ones pretty quickly, just highlight a few points, and then we can go into the policy to show you some of those nuances a little bit more. So starting with professional liability, E&O. As I'm sure you're aware, this is coverage for errors and omissions that occur or are alleged to have occurred in the course of providing professional services. So claims of negligence, even if it wasn't your fault, libel, slander, things along those lines. Some things to call out here. So punitive damages up to $250,000 are covered on these policies. Big thing here, when you're going through the quote online, you can select up to a $2 million aggregate limit online. We do offer up to $5 million. If you want anything above that threshold, you would need to call into the call center to get those higher limits. And we do have various deductibles ranging from $0 to $10,000. Average cost of a policy starts at $270 a year. One thing that you'll hear me say pretty frequently on all of these next slides for the policies that we have, automatic renewals. All of our policies for Hiscox now are on admitted paper. It's available as a monoline product, and we also do have automated blanket AI included at no extra charge. And we do have a very broad footprint, as you can see here as well too. So the only state that we don't write personal liability in is Alaska. Other than that, all other 48 contiguous states and Hawaii are within our appetite as well. Next, moving on to GL, I would say this is probably the policy that we write the most of our business, and I think more than 50% of the business we write is GL. So sure you're aware once again, coverage for bodily injury, associated medical costs and damages to on and off the premises of properties as well too. So covers property damage or bodily injury to third parties. It covers expenses to employees and temporary staff. Just like the PL as well, you can write up to $2 million occurrence online, up to $5 million in $1 million increments. Anything 3 million to 5 million, you need to call into our service center, and they'll be able to quote those. Depending on, you may need some additional documentation to show why you need that additional coverage, but they'll be able to honor that as well if need be. Defense costs paid outside of the policy limits, and no deductible in most industries as well. Minimum coverages start at $350 per year, and $500 minimum premium for retail, for landscape, for janitorial, and artisan contractors. Just like the last page, like I said, just to repeat again, admitted policies, automatic renewal, monoline product, startup friendly, and AI included at no charge. Same footprint here, all 49 states with the exception of Alaska. We write GL in as well too. So there is another slide on GL because this does have some additional optional add-ons that we can have for each of these lines of business. So starting with the GL, one thing that we do have is business property and equipment coverage, also known as BPP. This does offer to up to $25,000 in $5,000 increments. Coverage just at $135 a year for $5,000 in coverage and a $500 deductible. And it is available after the GL quote is produced. So once we're able to confirm that it is within our appetite and we're able to present a rate to you, at that point, that's when you'll be able to go in and see these additional add-on coverages to add. And I'll show you that when we go through the quote flow as well. So a few other add-ons that we have for our GL product are primary and non-contributory, also known as PNC. So this coverage, if your contract or your lease agreement requires this coverage modification, it can be included on the policy for an additional fee. It refers to the coverage for an additional insured as long as you have agreed in writing on a contract agreement to have that as well too. Consistently here, it's available in all states with the exception of Alaska. And then the other two common add-ons that we have for GL are hired non-owned auto endorsement, HNOA. This covers claims against your business if an employee has an accident while using their own vehicle or a rented vehicle for business purposes. It's covers for full-time and temporary staff when driving rented vehicles. So $300,000 to $2 million coverage limit, which cannot exceed your GL occurrence limit. Claims are paid as part of the aggregate limit, and this is available in a few less states. So it's not available in Alaska, not available in Illinois, Louisiana, Vermont, or Washington. And the last thing here, really quick, waiver of subrogation. This is also something that we do offer at an additional fee if required by your client's contracts, landlord lease agreement, or anything of those lines as well too. And that's available in all states with the exception of Alaska. Moving on to, this is the last slide I have on GL, and then I'll quickly go through the BOP and then the cyber, and then we can jump into the other pieces just to try to make the best use of time. So we do have a few other things, coverage for janitorial, for landscape, and for retail services. Some caveats to be aware of, and you'll see this when I pull up the appetite guide after these slides as well. We do offer up to a $500,000 payroll limit for landscapers, janitorial, cleaning services. There's a revenue limit of $3 million for retail and a coverage liability limit of $2 million. So these here just give you an idea of some of the classes underneath the janitorial umbrella, underneath the landscape, and underneath the services. This is not an exhaustive list of what type of examples we have for those, but just more to give you an idea of what professions fall under each of those categories. We also do have special limits for skilled services with artisan contractors. So same thing, you have up to a $500,000 revenue and a payroll limit for artisan contractors. We have a coverage limit of $2 million. And unfortunately, just because of New York City, that is one of the state exclusions that we have there as well. Just one of the states that's in Alaska that we don't have these coverages in. And same thing, just a non-exhaustive list of some of the professions that fall underneath each of these industries that are eligible for those artisan contractors. So I have those there, and then I'll quickly move over to BOP. Business owners policies, I'm sure everyone's aware. This coverage pays for claims for bodily injury associated with medical costs and damaged property. We also do have a GL Plus. So for some states where we are professions where we may not have a BOP eligible, you can do some of those add-ons in the GL as a substitute for this policy as well. You will see once again up to $2 million occurrence limit for each of these policies. If you need more than that, $5 million on referral through our service center, up to a max of $250,000 for business contents. Requires underwriting referral, but up to $500,000 on buildings. And then it does cover things such as loss of electrical data for $10,000, interruption of computer operations, $10,000, loss of business income up to 6 months, various deductibles ranging from $500 to $25,000, and we do have coverage starting at $495 a year. I'm going to skip over this one for the sake of time, but you saw on that last slide as well, just states that are coming soon, hopefully sometime in 2025. In future consideration, these are further down the pipeline as potential, but Alaska and Rhode Island, those ones I think will be later in the future, probably 2026, I would imagine, to be err on the side of caution. All right, and then the last one to go over quickly is just cyber, is the other policy that we offer underneath Hiscox now. So cyber, anyone who's using computers, taking payments online, that is someone who would be a good candidate for cyber. This is the newest product that we have that we are trying to make inroads on here. Once again, I've said it on all the other ones, but automatic renewals, automatic blanket AI included at no extra charge, and it's an admitted policy available in all states with the exception of Alaska. So it's great coverage for those who, like I said, anyone working on computers, anyone taking payments online, up to $1 million aggregate limit. So that is different than the other three policies that I mentioned. We do have deductibles ranging from $1,000 to $25,000 and available for all classes of business that we have, which I'll walk through pretty shortly as well. So, a little bit more of the same. I think from here I'm going to move over to the next off of the slide deck. The one thing here I will show before I do is one thing, like I said, I mentioned that we have the hours for our call service center from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. You will see this phone number all over the quote and bind process. But one other feature we have that I think is very underutilized is once I do pull up this page, you'll see in the bottom right corner of all of the Hiscox pages, you do have this chat option. This will get you in touch with the live representative in our service center. So depending on the ask or the question you have, if it's something where you're not in a situation where you can get to the phone, you can always jump on here and chat with them in real time as well. So that's a nice feature. And then this is just an idea of all the things you can do from our resource center online as well. So with that being said, let me move this over here. And you will see right here, this is the chat feature that I mentioned earlier as well too, where you can ask your questions and you will get in touch with an actual live agent that we have. And I wanted to also walk you through up here in this resource center, you will see the appetite guide right here. So if you click this, and I will share this link with everyone as well too, you can see all of the industries we cover by category. So if you click on any of these, it will tell you which products we have available for. If you move down to this product section here, you can click each line of business, and you'll see this map that I had highlighted earlier and the features and limits that are available for relevant for each of those. You'll see everything I had in there, $2 million limit online, up to $5 million per phone, instant binding, same day coverage. So this is updated in real time. So as we have classes come in and come out, This is always the best source of truth I would recommend in order to make sure that you have the correct, the most up-to-date information to share. So for agents, like I said, as long as you have an appointment with INVO, if you want to start quoting with us, what you'll do once you get to this page, and to get here, you can just type hiscox.com/INVO, and it'll bring you right to this page. What you'll want to do if you don't have an account already, you just click create a Hiscox account. Type in first name, last name, your agency name, agency phone number, and your email address. Hit create an account, and you'll get an automatic email sent to you where you create your password. And then once you do that, you'll be able to then log in at your discretion. So for those, once you already do have it, you can just go to sign in. And from here, you will be logged in. So if you already have quotes that you've done with us in the past, you can come right here to retrieve those quotes. You can search by business name, you can search by reference number, and I'll show you where each of those are. If you are starting a new quote for a prospect, you can just go in here. You'll need to put in the zip code of their address to start and hit start quote. So from here, select what the profession that they have is. I know business consulting is a common one that we typically see people writing, so I'll do that. Ownership structure, is it a corporation, LLC, limited sole prop, say LLC. And like I said, when you want the coverage to begin, we're great with new ventures. If this isn't coverage they want to start today or tomorrow, that's okay as well. I'll say tomorrow for the sake of this. And then this is where you select the lines of business that you want to prepare for that customer. I will start with just general liability here, and you'll still see, once again, a lot of those high level options or add-ons you can have selected. So let's say the customer just wants to do only a general liability policy to start. I'll click that. You can, of course, click more than one. It does tell you if you start with GL, it's not available with BOP, and vice versa. So any limitations, it will tell you that there. But once you have the line of business selected, click Next. It's going to cross-sell to say if you want to add cyber as an option, that's available as well too. I'll say no thanks to this right now, but once we go through and complete this quote, I'll show you how easy it is to add one of those on the back end. So another thing to point out when we get to this screen, once again, you still have that chat feature here if you want to have a chat with someone. If you need to call and speak to someone in the service center, you'll see the hours and the phone number up here in the top corner as well. So from here, let's go ahead and we can start the quote. We'll say it's for Marge, if my computer wants to cooperate, Simpson. As you may know, a lot of times the business name is the same as the name of the person. So if it is, you can just click this and it will automatically go and default to change that to the name of the business. And then you can just go ahead and put this in. So when did your client's business begin? New venture, she decided she wanted to start business consulting this week. So we'll say that this started as May 2025. Does your client have any DBA or formerly known as addresses? Optional. If they do not, you can leave this blank. And then, do you have any coverage for this policy? We decided we want to start this in May of this year, so no, we don't have any insurance coverage for, in this case, for a new business that is just getting off the ground right now. So I'll say no. And you can click next. And I'll show you also, you see that you have a reference number here already with the information we just put in. So if you recall on that first screen, I had the option to either start a new quote by zip code, or you could retrieve an old quote by the reference number. this is where you would have that number saved for you so you can pull this up if you're able to start and not finish the quote. The other thing to point out here is you see this progress bar. So right now we're asking to put in the location. There'll be some eligibility questions and some limited options, and then we'll have the quote produced after that. So let's put this street as the address in here. Ask you to validate the address against the USPS. Let's say I happen to know that this is the correct address, so we'll just go ahead and keep it at 1 Main Street instead of using these verified ones for the sake of this quote. And then it's going to ask if there's any secondary locations that you want to include to ensure for this as well. For this case, I'll say no. And now it's going to go to these coverage questions. And depending on how you answer these, you may see some extra underwriting questions come up that you need to address and answer at the same time as well. So does your business supply any manufacturing, distribute any tangible goods? As a consultant, we do not, so I'll say no for this. Do we perform any design, construction, installation, removal, physical repair? Nope. As a consultant, we do not again. Is the business operated out of the home? Yes, it is. And how many owners are in the company? For this, we'll say I'm the only owner for now. And with that, let's say that I'm paying myself a salary of $80,000 to start out for myself for this. How many employees are there in the company? It's just me by myself for this scenario. And then it's going to ask you some of these questions as well too. Some of these may be rate bearing. Some of these may be knockout. For example, anything oil, gas, petroleum, things along those lines are outside of Hiscox appetite typically. But let's say we went through all of these, none of these apply, so we'll say none of the above, and then click next. In the next 12 months, what's our estimated business revenue? I'm going to say we're ambitious and hoping that in the first year we'll be making $150,000 of revenue. And then this is where you select the limits and those additional add-ons as well too. So if you recall, I said we can do up to $2 million online. If you want these higher limits, then you would have to go in and talk to anyone in our service center. So for the sake of this, we'll just keep it at the 2,000, occurrence of 1,000, and no deductible available for GL. Let's say we want to keep that terrorism coverage, but we're okay leaving these all as no for the time being. And also given that it's 2:28 right now, so I want to make sure to get through this really quickly as well. So I'll say no, and you'll see that's the last question here. And with that, it came back and said it's going to give us a 1-year premium of $350. If you want to pay that monthly, it'd be $29.16 a month. So once you're on this screen, you'll see that it still gives you the option, if that price is less than Marge expected to see, you can then go ahead and consider adding in some of these extra coverages that you may have bypassed on initially. Or if she does go through this and say, hey, actually, I saw you mention that cyber quote earlier, and I'm a little bit interested given that this price came back lower than I expected. You can click here to create a comparison quote. And then you can select if you want to add, let's say we'll add cyber on for the sake of this really quickly. Just walk through adding that in. So all of this information still pulls through. So I'll go ahead and click next here. And see all of these are all checked off. So I'm just going to go to the outstanding ones, which would be the cyber eligibility questions. When did our business begin? We're saying that it began today is when the biggest business began. How many employees the business have? It's just me by myself. And let's say that I do take some annual trainings for privacy matters to make sure that I protect myself against cyber as best I can for this. That we already answered on the next one, so it's going to ask us some limits and options questions here. Do we want the terrorism coverage? Do we want media liability? And what do we want for our deductible? 10,000 feels a little bit high. Let's say Marge is more comfortable with the $1,000 deductible. An annual limit of $250. You can either click Get Quote or click Next here. But then you're seeing for both policies, it's going to be a total of $756 a month or $62.98 each. So hopefully that gives you an idea, as I was saying, how easy it is to kind of get through this entire quote process. So once you do this, and then like I said, if you want to select changes to any of these, from here you can either pull up this PDF, which you're able to share with the customer. This does take a little bit to load sometimes. It's a great sales tool, though, just to at least represent and show all of the coverages with the customer. So you'll see cyber has the deductibles and limits that you have on there. It's got the general liability and the limits and the deductibles there, so you can share that with the customer if you'd like. But let's say Marge is good with this and she decides that she wants to bind this policy. From here, you click Bind Policy. Confirm all this information is correct. Yes, Marge has reviewed the application. Yes, she's agreed with these statements, and yes, she's okay receiving it via electronically. This is where it will then email over the information to both Marge, to the agent, and to Invo at the same time as well. And the last thing to show you here, which is really nice too, so we do have a few payment options available. You'll notice that there is no installment fee regardless of the payment method that you choose. So the price is the price. If you take the 76 divided by 12, or divided by 4, divided by 2, there's no add-ons in there either. So select the payment plan that Marge is comfortable with. It'll give you the breakdown by each policy. And then once you go over here to complete purchase, you just go ahead, type in the credit card information, which I'm not going to do here. And then once you hit make payment, at this point, that's when it's going to email everything over to the insured, to the agent, and to the broker, so that they have all the policy and the details. So that's really about it. So that's all I really had for today. So like I said, I hope that at least gives some confidence as far as how turnkey and frictionless the quote system is. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to address or answer those now as well too.
Awesome, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I did not see any questions in the chat box, so I think we're good to go there. I'm going to quickly just take back control of the screen.
Perfect. So you got 2 minutes to spare, so.
No, you did great. Sorry, my computer's being silly. Guys, real quick, I'm going to share with you my screen. I know that Jonathan touched on this, but again, just to reiterate how to get to Hiscox from our portal. InfoUnderwriting.com, you'll go over here to our agent portal and you'll log in. And immediately at the top, you'll see that Hiscox is right here. And again, Jonathan touched on this, but you will need to complete this additional create an account registration. It's a seamless process, but once you get that, you are good to go. I will now stop sharing my screen because that was all that I had. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. And Jonathan, thank you for your time and information today. It was awesome. I hope you get to feeling better as well as myself.
Likewise, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank
well,
you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and I will send you, Kylie, I'll send you over those slides that I went through as well and that link. So if you want to share that with everyone that was supposed to be on the call as well, it'll have that. And then that way, if you need me for anything, they'll have my contact information in the email as well, too.
Yes, absolutely. And also, too, guys, this will be posted onto our YouTube channel. But I'll also send out the copies from Jonathan as well. So that way you have something a little quicker to refer to.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much. Bye, Jonathan. I appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Likewise.